Good evening, friends, followers, channel members. Hope you've had a great Tuesday, and thanks for joining us on the flight tonight as we go from Milan up to where are we going? Berlin. What a great way to start. Berlin. I forgot where we were going. So Berlin is a handcrafted custom airport. Fingers crossed we don't get no crash to desktops there. Other than that, it should be a nice straightforward flight. I believe we've got ATC from VATSIM as well as we head up there. So that'll be quite nice. Help to add to the immersion as well. So good evening to Rockstar on Twitch and to the Easyjetsimpilot channel members. Hello to Simon, Pilot, Pat, Nick, Christian, Dark Fury. Good to see you, and Barry as well. Hope you've all had a great day so far. And Dr. Magic is there as well. Good to see you guys. So yeah, things have just got moving. We're starting to prep the aircraft ready for our departure. It is a cold and dark state, so we need to get on and start sorting things out. So let's hit the ready to fly button. Let's get in, and oh yeah, it is very nice and dark, isn't it, this evening? I think we're just kind of missing the sunset at the moment, which no biggie, never mind. Once we get up, we may find that we've got the sun, but I wanted to keep it on live time so that we've got, as I say, live time. And it's been a while, I think, since we've done an evening stream, hasn't it? So be nice to do that as well. So we're going to go ahead and start getting set up. Now the operational flight plan, I don't even think I've popped that in the chat yet, have I? So for those of you watching this on YouTube, the OFP is now available for you to check out. Dispatch papers. There we go. That's all done. So hopefully you guys can now see that. Have I pinned that to the top of the chat? Oh, I might not have done. Bear with me. Oh yeah, there we go. So that's all nice and pinned. So let's go ahead down here and get the information from Seabrief. We'll check out the operational flight plan and see what's happening in terms of the weather. Oh, Simon, thank you so much, Simon. You're very, very kind. And Simon says, huge congratulations on 14,000 subscribers. Yes, thank you to everybody that's helped us get over that milestone. And Simon, a long-time supporter of the channel. Very, very generous of you, Simon. Thank you for your very valued continued support. So yeah, we did pass 14,000. I think it was late last night, but really, really great, and I appreciate each and every one of you that has subscribed to the channel. It's great to see many of you here this evening as well. So QNH then is 1013. Let's take a look at that weather. So if we can come down here, look at the operational flight plan, and then we'll start getting things loaded in. So planned block is around 6.5 tons. And have we got any nasty weather waiting for us in Berlin? Let's have a quick look. So destination airport, winds are very light. Look at that, winds very light. Great visibility. Few clouds scattered clouds. 4,800 feet. No significant changes expected. There's a slight potential there. Then, oh no, that's tomorrow morning. We can ignore that. Yeah. So basically, weather's looking pretty great in Berlin. So that's all right. The LQ2 Gamer, good evening. He asks, how am I dealing with the weather bugs? Well, at the moment we have got live weather, but if that goes belly up, then we'll just use a weather preset. But if it continues, then I've not had a chance to get it yet, but I will be getting Rex because I think we're going to need a backup if things like this are going to happen in the future, aren't we? Right, so how much fuel did I say? So if we take 7.5 tons, that's a ton extra. So let's go with that. So if we take 7.5 tons, let's go to the fuel. I'll just type this in because it's easy now that all the key bindings have been taken away when tapping away into the flypad. Well done, Fly-by-Wire, for that. Okay, so defueling is underway and we've got the ground power unit is connected. Let's get those batteries on. So that's 1 and 2. Voltage is good. External power is now disconnected. Is now connected. I am Skypunk. Thank you for your for subscribing. Let me just get the overhead lights on. It's rather dark in here, isn't it? There we are. So crew supply, ground control, CRV test, and we'll start getting the ideas aligned as well. Dark, you can't see me at the airport on VATSIM. I guarantee I'm there. I think we've even got other players on VATSIM as well next to us. Seatbelt signs. Oh, don't want to turn them on. I just want not seatbelt signs. Sorry, no smoking signs onto auto. Emergency exit signs are armed, and we'll leave the fuel pumps off until refueling is finished. Okay, let's come down then and check 1013, the QNH. That's all fine. Come down to the pedestal and check. Oh, those thrust levers aren't in the right place, are they? Wayne, this is the standard dev model. This is not a special preview model, so everything you see here, you should be able to get working as well. Switching panel, thrust levers, engine masters, parking brake, spoilers, flaps, and transponder. All good. Let's come up to the glare shield then, and our initial climb is going to be up to 15,000 feet. Let me just turn the brightness up on there. One thing I didn't do with the overhead panel, I didn't turn up the integral lighting on that, so hang on a sec, because it's going to be dark soon. Okay. Flight directors 1 and 2 are on. Let's come down to the instrument panel, and just as I'm doing that, I also want to get the passengers. We'll start getting those guys loaded on. You can start taking your seat, boys and girls. Okay, I think we're good to get the doors open and start the loading process. Getrick and Goville, thank you very much for subscribing as well on YouTube, really appreciate that. Turn those first officer displays off, claw some frame rates back. Okay, RS is already aligned, so that's good, and all systems are normal. Beautiful. Right, let's start. Is the main door open? None of the doors are open. There we go. Now they are open. And we're starting to get those passengers boarded. Gilric, thank you for subscribing as well. Let me come down to the McDo and we'll get the information from SimBrief. One hour 20 minutes our planned flight time today then. Onto the performance weights and balance pages, and we've got a full load, 180 passengers. Okay, let's check this against the operational flight plan that I've already sent you guys. So payload 18720, that is correct. Zero fuel weight of 59.7. Again, that is correct. And a random zero fuel weight center of gravity, and we'll hit the payload button and get that in. There we go. Okay, onto our data page. IRS, we've got 3 nav green, and aircraft status, correct engine type, and valid air cycle. So onto the init a page, init request, we'll get the uplink from the company headquarters. Our alternate tonight is Copenhagen, and our call sign this evening is Easyjet Europe, which is Alpine, and then, oh, get this for a call sign, 86 Quebec Hotel. I think when using alphanumeric call signs, Quebec, along with a couple of others, should be banned. It's a right mouthful. Cost index of 8 and flight level 360 minus 51, spot on. And the tropo is about 37,000 feet, so we'll just go and edit that. There we go. Just clear the scratch pad as well. So those of you that watched flights and live streams before, you'll know I apologise. I don't look at the chat too much when setting the aircraft up, just because I'm obviously concentrating on getting all this done quick as possible. Then we can get in the air, and once we're at cruise, we can have a more in-depth chat about things if anyone's got any questions. Abed, good evening, and Wayne, good evening to you as well. Alright, so our flight plan then today, we're departing runway 35 left, and that is the Urquhart 5 Alpha departure. Urquhart 5 Alpha. With an Ibiza transition. Just wondering actually, is it not giving us the name? It should be the Ibiza 7 X-ray transition, but we'll go with that. I will check that in a moment. Anyway, then our arrival brings us into runway 25 left, and that is via the ATGUB 25 left. Oh, that's not going to be in there, is it? Because it's missing. No start. Right, well, the VIA is going to be ATGUB, so let's insert that. We need to now check on the navigation display what this looks like, because there's a couple of things not quite right just there. Oh, we've crashed the desktop. Oh, how annoying. Do you know, that's the first time I've had it in a few days. Okay, well, never mind. Let's crack on. I wonder if it was because it didn't like the fact that we didn't have any SIDS and stars. Or rather, we didn't have a star for Berlin. We'll crack back on again, shall we? Oh, sorry about that, guys. Nothing I can do, but who here hasn't had a crash to desktop since sim update number 5? So, just give that a couple of minutes to fire up. I suppose the good thing now about crash to desktops is the fact that the simulator does start up a heck of a lot faster than it used to. So now if you've got any questions, now's a great time to chat. Brian, that does indeed suck. Alex, you think sim update number 5 is superb. I think you're going to be in I think you're going to be on your own with that particular assessment of the situation. We are indeed counting the crash to desktops that we get this evening, and as Nick has rightly just said, that's number 1. I do think that was something to do with the fact that it didn't like the idea of not having any stars there. I mean, I'm just guessing here. I don't actually know what it was. Art Pepper, good afternoon. How's it going? Well, as you can probably tell, not well. Barry, you just relieved it happens to me as well. It is what it is, sadly, isn't it? Nick, you're re-downloading for the 3rd time in 7 days. Wow, that's dedication. I think if I was having to do something like that, Nick, I would by now have sort of done a full Windows reinstallation as well. Simon, we all know them by now. We'll be glad when they're gone. Absolutely right. Alex, you're being sarcastic. I'm glad about that. It's so bad. You're gutted as it was the update you were looking forward to the most. Weren't we all? Weren't we all? Adam, well done. Great, great eye there. That was indeed an approach to Lisbon on the desktop just there. Christopher 11, yep, sadly, a CTD. The real G, my voice sounds different today. I don't know, maybe I've been shouting at the kids more today. They're all on holiday, aren't they? Nick, am I using the new dev version with the upgraded cockpit textures? I don't know, it depends when they came out. I've not seen. Pilot Pat, is there a CTD counter mod out there? No, but there should be. Art Pepper, maybe it crashed when you entered the stream. Very possibly. No, I can't put that on you, can I? I can't put that on you. I bet the CTDs are really killing the moment. Yeah. Deep Future, you had one 5 minutes ago. Dark, you think you've fixed the CTDs now? Please do tell us what you've done. Well, in the background, it still sounds like I've got my passengers loading, so... Fair enough. Right, I'll tell you what I am going to do. I am going to change parking positions purely for a slightly quicker taxi. So what I want to do is just check where we're going to park just here. So let's park. Yeah, we'll park anywhere. But I'm going to park just there, just for, as I say, a slightly quicker taxi. It was going to be a long taxi, which I didn't mind, but when you throw a CTD in there, it kind of makes us just want to get going, doesn't it? So let me just revisit. We were parked at stand 110. I can get rid of that now, as we don't need that anymore. Main parking stands, there we go. So we're now going to push back and we're going to taxi on Tango and then down on Whiskey. So much more straightforward. We're at 621, I think we are now. One thing I do really like is the fact that not that you could see it at night time, but with the Bing satellite data over the top, you can pick your parking stands much nicer. Oh no! We've crashed again! I don't believe this. I honestly don't believe this. Well, this is a great evening and a great way to start, isn't it? I've never had I've not had that happen. We may just end up doing a Q&A session. But don't ask me how to fix CTDs. Okay, I've turned off self-loading cargo. I should probably have done that at the start as well. Third time lucky? What do we think? So, that's number 2. That's number 2. If I'm being honest, I would much rather have the CTDs right now at the start of a stream than, say, halfway through. Speccal, you've had 2 CTDs in 15 minutes. Oh, we can beat that. We can beat that. We've had 2 in 5. Nick, indeed, that is number 2. Simon, maybe quickly deleting rolling cache may help. I don't think so, Simon. Only because I've only ever been here in Milan since sim update number 5, so I don't understand how. Nicholas, you believe the hotfix was pretty much an empty package anyway because it fixed nothing. Sadly, I tend to agree with you. Nick, I had to turn off the intro cinematics as would crash the desktop when flying over the runway at the start. That's interesting, Nick. That's very interesting. MPS Gaming, maybe it's an airport bug. So how come we could land there yesterday? Yeah, we landed there yesterday, didn't we? Brent, it's probably the aircraft. No, it's definitely not the aircraft. definitely not the aircraft. We've flown this a couple of times since sim update number 5. So I've flown this livery lots. I have flown this aircraft lots since sim update number 5. Not just streaming, of course, but also in creating videos and privately as well, just making sure everything will work. Do you know, I thought to myself, you know, we're going to be quite good tonight. A bit of an early stream. Christian, good evening. You join us as we relaunch the simulator for the 3rd time. If this doesn't work, I might just turn this into an impromptu an impromptu multiplayer flight. Let's try and pick somewhere that's not going to crash. Speckal, indeed, it could be all sorts. Christian CTD at the gate. Once whilst popping the info into the McDo, and twice when just loading it into Milan. So very strange. Art Pepper, you're surprised they've not announced a hotfix for the hotfix. Well, indeed. Okay, let's try again, shall we? 3rd time's the charm. It's definitely dark now. Shall I go for the same gate again, or is that just bad luck? Let's see what happens. A lot of DK, have you switched to the NVIDIA Studio Driver in the GeForce experience? What, have I had the latest one? I updated it a couple of days ago. Has there been another one out since then? Dark, yeah, we've updated FSUI PC as well. Christian, well, this is interesting. We're witnessing something special now. I'm now choosing the exact same gate that it just crashed at, so we'll find out in a second, won't we? Trooper 37, good evening. We're doing terrible. How long dare I let the cinematic run for? Let's have a quick look. Dun dun dun. Oh, well, we got further than last time. Mustafa, hello from Istanbul. Good luck this time. Let's see how far we get, shall we? Right, okay. So, let's get the batteries on. Let's get ground power connected. I'm going to try and whiz through this a little bit. I do want some light though. There we go. And that. Nav and logo lights. Let's get the tablet on. Really, don't speak too soon. Yes, it worked, but we haven't pushed back and started engines just yet. Right, well, the good news is everything is exactly the same. I'm going to be losing the same amount of fuel, which was 7.5 tons. That's close enough. We'll just do that instantly, so that's well, that's now done. In which case, as that's done, let's continue the flows here. The seatbelt signs are on. I can put the passenger signs on and the fuel pumps on. All that is done. So I am kind of just going to whiz through this, check everything is where it should be. We can now relaunch self-loading cargo, fingers crossed. Let's see how we get on this time, shall we? (1013) is the QNH. Let's go up here. And initial climb will be 15,000 feet. I'll fly on 150. Just pop these lights on as well. Alex, do a speed run to start the A320. I'm going to do it as fast but still as realistically as possible. Otherwise, there's no point to doing the real ops flights, is there? That's what I think that's what a lot of people are here for, to see the real ops setup. But you are right, I am going to perhaps, instead of explaining what I'm doing, I'm just going to go and zip through it, and then I can answer any questions a little bit later on. So let's come down here and check all that's fine. I just need to get the information from SimBrief loaded back in again. There we go. Performance, weight and balance, and we can load that in. There we go. We also need to get back on VATSIM as well, don't we? So we'll try that again. Back connected on VATSIM. Easyjet Europe. What was that call sign? That ridiculous one? 86 Quebec Hotel, wasn't it? 86 Quebec Hotel. Okay, 36051. That troppo was 37,000 feet. Okay, this is as far as we got then. So the departure is 35 left. It's the ERC 5 Alpha. And the transition is a busy. Airway waypoint mismatch. Yeah, ignore that. And insert. Now let's have a look at what's going to happen here. This is where it crashed last time. This is the first time it crashed. ILS 25 left. No start. Via ATGUB. That's correct. And insert. A distance of 647 miles. That operational flight plan had a distance of 563 miles. I think that's because the star isn't actually, the full star isn't taken into account. Not the star, sorry, the SID isn't taken into account with that. Okay, so then what I went to do last time, and this is where it went completely wrong, I went to the plan mode and I just wanted to check this out. Oh, good lord. Well, that's not how the the SID should look. So that one just there. We've got BZ in twice, we've got ERCT in twice. Let me just see if I can clear those out. That's interesting. Why can't I clear the one out that I want to clear out? That's why we've got extra distance shown as well. So I should have a BZ, but I shouldn't have ERCT there. So if I clear that out, that's better. And insert. The distance has obviously dropped now. So there we go. That's the SID that I expected. Okay, that's good. Self-loading cargo passengers, you need to get on much faster than you did last time. In fact, is self-loading cargo even going to start? It might not do now following the crash. Let's find out, shall we? Oh no, self-loading cargo doesn't want to fly. Oh well, never mind. Looks like you guys are going to have to be my passengers today. It's not working. Oh well, who cares? As long as the simulator works, that's the main thing. Right, so happy with the flight plan. We need the Malpensa VOR in there in case of an emergency on departure, which is Mike Papa. There we go. And the init B page, zero fuel weight we confirmed a little bit earlier as being 59.7, zero fuel weight center of gravity is set. Trip wind of, what is the trip wind? A tailwind of 24. Good. We want a good strong tailwind to counteract the delays that we've had. Fuel planning, aircraft suggests 5.8. We have 7.4 in there, so let's get that keyed in. Fuel for the alternate is around 2 tons, so we'll just wait for this to calculate and update it if we need to. Yeah, it's showing 1.4, so we're going to update that to 2 tons. Again, guys, I do apologise. I am ignoring the chat just because I want to get this through, and we obviously want to get going, don't we? So that's now all set and good. Let's go to the performance page. Right, before I do, let's get the APU fired up. So 1, 2, 3. Let's hit the start button. Okay, now onto the performance. So transition altitude here is 6,000 feet. Thrust reduction acceleration is 1,690. 1690. 1690, and that's the same for the engine out. 1690, and it's going to be a flaps 1 toga takeoff, and the V speeds. And we'll just check those performance calculations and check, have we got any speed restrictions? We do, a maximum of 220 knots, which, lucky for us, just happens to be our green dot clean speed. So let's go and set that to 20. That's now pre-selected. Okay, take-up performance page is completed. Let's do our briefing. So we are now parked, different stand. The old aircraft went tech, so we're on a new aircraft. We're now parked at stand 621. We're going to push back facing to the east, taxi via Tango down onto Whiskey. We're going to taxi down via Whiskey to holding point Whiskey Bravo for runway 35 left. We're then going to depart runway 35 left. A maximum of 210 in the first couple of turns. That's no problem. We're not going to get up to that speed by there, but if it looks like we're going to, we can pull the speed bug to maintain a speed less than 210 knots, which, if I just go to the performance page, yeah, 196 would be the preferred. With flaps 1 out, but once we've done that, yeah, we'll clean up, retract the flaps, and max speed of 220 knots in that first hand turn. After IRCT, we're then going to continue out on the BZ7 X-ray transition up to flight level 150. So that's all pretty straightforward. The weather here that we have in Milan is okay. Visibility is pretty decent. It's obviously night time now, but visibility is all good. Nice, 2 nice long runways, so if we did have a problem, we'd look to return here and not faff about diverting or anything like that. No notes to be aware of, but threats to be aware of: the terrain that surrounds the airport, as you can see from this particular map here. Minimum safe altitude 6,000 feet or an initial climb out, and then we head into this sector here where it's 8,000 feet. And then obviously we've got the Alps beneath us as we head out north, so we need to be aware of the terrain that is obviously playing a part, which is why it takes us all the way out along here, give us a chance to climb up before getting that high up. Alright, so let's just check what's our takeoff weight. Our weight at the moment is 67 tons, so we are below the maximum landing weight, which means that we wouldn't have to burn fuel off or anything daft like that. If we did need to return here, we could just come straight back in for a landing. Let's do a emergency brief. So if we have any problems during the taxi, we'll stop and tell air traffic control. If it's a serious issue like a fire, we'll let the crew know. If it's a minor issue, of course, then we just stop, tell ATC, and then depending on the failure, we can run the ECAM drill or go through the QRH as is necessary. On departure, if we have any problems or warnings before 100 knots, we'll consider stopping, but after 100 knots and up to V1, we will only stop for any uninhibited ECAM warnings or cautions, an engine fire or failure with or without thrust loft, or if we think that the aircraft is completely unsafe to fly. If I do make the decision to stop, I will call stop nice and clearly. We'll then go to max reverse thrust, keep the aircraft straight on the runway, and use manual braking if the auto brake isn't stopping the aircraft as well as I think it should. If we have a defined warning, I'll also attempt to point the aircraft into the wind. Once we've come to a stop, we can slowly reverse and set the parking brakes. We'll announce to the cabin crew to be attention to all stations, and then we just stop and run through the ECAM to make sure we know what the failure is at that point. Once we've established the cause of the failure, we can then complete the ECAM tasks, and we can ask ATC if we can vacate the runway, or if it's more serious and looks like we need to get everybody out quickly, we'll consider running the emergency evacuation checklist. But we make sure we pause before we do that. As I say this every time, you'd only want to do that if there really was a problem, because the moment you do that, passengers are going to get injured as they go down the slides, and of course we don't want that. So that's the last resort. If we have a failure after V1, we'll get the aircraft into the air using the standard technique. If it's an engine failure, we'll fly it at 12.5 degrees pitch initially, following SRS, and I'll use the rudder to counteract the yaw. Once the aircraft has a positive rate of climb, we'll get the gear up, I can trim out the yaw, and I can get the autopilot turned on. We'll also need to go to heading. We'll need to pull the heading bug so that the aircraft doesn't continue along the SID, and above 400 feet, which is the critical altitude, will confirm the failure and run the ECAM drill. Once the engine is secured and we're above the single engine acceleration altitude, and we have completed the turn, because this is a non-standard engine out departure here, if we do have a problem, then at 3 miles from Malpensa, which I can now turn on, we've got that keyed into the RadNav page, 3 miles from the Malpensa VOR, we make a left turn to the NELAB holding point. We enter the 267 and it's left hand turns. Once we've made that turn towards there, we'll level off, accelerate, retract flaps on schedule, and at green dot we can then pull open climb and set maximum continuous thrust. Once we've got to at least 1500 feet above the aerodrome, we can then look to turn to the holding point, or as it's a non-standard procedure, we'll first turn and then we'll secure the engine above the engine out acceleration. We'll then enter the hold and decide what we're going to do, but hopefully none of that will happen. The worst thing that should happen to us tonight is that we should get a crash to desktop. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen again. Right, so are we on Unicom? We are on Unicom. Are we on VATSIM? We are on VATSIM, and I'm just checking that we don't have an ATC online. No, we don't, so we are completely on our own. APU is running, APU bleed is on. We can get rid of the external power. That's no longer needed, so we can kill that and tell them to go away. Off they go. Let's just check. He's now moving away. Yes, he is. There's our departure runway, just down there. Okay, so that's all done. I'm going to call the pushback tug, and we will run our before start checklist. So, to the line, and just check. Cockpit preparations now are all complete. Signs are on and auto. Our ideas, we've checked, we've got 3 nav green. Fuel quantity is 4.7 tons, and we can check that that's loaded correctly and balanced, which it is. FMGS is set and coded correctly. Altimeter 1013. Okay, let's announce our pushback clearance on VATSIM. Malpensa traffic, Alpine Ed 6 Quebec Hotel, stand 621, pushing back, facing east. So get the rotating beacon light on, and nose wheel steering is disconnected. Start the timer, transponder to auto. And Dan the Man, thank you so much for signing up as a member. Really do appreciate the support there, Dan. You are now able to enjoy free drinks for all of the flights that we that we do here. But thanks very much, Dan. I'll look forward to chatting with you again shortly once we are in the air. Okay, so we've now got the pushback tug. Have we actually got a pushback tug, or is it a... Oh no, we do. Couldn't see him just out there, but he is there, so that's great. Before starting this, below the line, windows and doors are closed and armed. We've got the rotating beacon light on, haven't we? Yeah. Closed and armed, rotating beacon light is on, mobile phone is on silent, parking brake is on. We're about to Release that. And now, back we go. Danny, thank you so much for your kind donation, Danny. And Danny says, evening, I really appreciate the streams and the work you put into the channel. You've learnt so much from it. Danny, it's a pleasure, mate. And I know you've been a long time supporter and watcher of the channel as well. So great to have you on board again this evening. So, engine start. We'll lock the flight deck doors. Engine mode selector to ignition. Starting engine 1. So I was just listening to the traffic that's here at Malpensa with us. I was just about to say the engines seem rather quiet, don't they? I've just heard them for the first time. Speed up that tug. I want a fast pushback. We've already had 2 CTDs so far. Dan the man, you love the content, no problem. Dan, really great to have you on board, and once again, thank you for your support. Do you know, I don't think I've flown at night following sim update number 5. What's it like? Any good? I could use the rudder to steer this, but I'm going to let the tug driver make a mess of it all on his own. Engine 1 stabilised, starting engine 2. Shame we've not got the Kevin announcements from self-logging cargo, isn't it? But never mind. Okay, we'll end our pushback there. Engine number 2 starting. Set that parking brake. And then we'll just wait for engine number 2 to stabilise, and then we'll do the before start checks to the line. So I'm just going to take this opportunity to have a quick look around, see if we can see any other traffic. We've got traffic just there. What colour is he? Is he purple? That's interesting. Dreedy, what was my first flight simulator? Going back a long time. It was the Airbus A320 simulator on the Amiga, for anybody that remembers that. Engine number 2 is now stabilised, so engine mode selected to ignition. APU bleed off, ground control can come off, APU masters off, anti-ice is not required. And spoilers, rudder, flaps 1. And trim, set that. Okay, after start checks, anti-ice not required. ECAM status is checked. Pitch trim is 29.8. And rudder trim set 0. We'll do a flight control check then whilst we're holding here. Full left, full right, neutral, full up, full down, neutral, rudder, full right, rudder, full left, and neutral. So our pushback tug is now clear. I think he is. He's hidden behind there. The first officer had told me if the pushback tug was clear. So we'll now announce our taxi clearance. Malpensa traffic, Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel, taxiing now via Tango Whiskey to hold at Whiskey Bravo for departing runway 35 left. Abed, thank you so much for your very kind donation there, Abed. I just wanted to remind me to switch off the live whether you think it's still bugged. I've got it on at the moment. I'm going to keep it on until we sort of start to struggle, basically. Then we'll turn it off. But really do appreciate that. Thank you, Abed. You're very kind.
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
Charles, no, I don't even turn the primary flight displays on for the first officers. He's not there. I'd rather have the frame rates. So we'll get a bit of background music back on once we're cruising. Let's concentrate on what we're doing down here on the ground. So we obviously just want to check that we're not cutting anybody up here. There's no ATC on at the moment, so we're on Unicom. Flight Sim 123, you've just departed from Amsterdam and it looks amazing. Yeah, sunset and sunrise in the simulator looks stunning, doesn't it? Whatever you say about Azobo and the state of the simulator at the moment, they've done a cracking job with those colours. So for anybody that has seen the video that I did recently regarding getting some sort of graphics back, if anyone wanted to know my config, if you like, at the moment, we've got film grain turned off, and we have the terrain LOD set to 4 and the objects LOD set to 1.5. So we're now turned down on Whiskey. Let's do our PEDS check. So, performance isn't changed. QNH still 1013. It's going to be a toga takeoff. Engine out procedure, remember it's non-standard, so we need to pull that heading bug nice and quick. And it's a from Mike Papa 3 miles DME. It's a left-hand turn to the NLAB holding point. Our departure matches what we have in the FMGC, and our stop altitude is set to 15,000 blue. Okay, so I don't know if the taxi signs are correct here. They're not, so basically we're kind of making this up. But this, I think, is Whiskey Bravo, where we're turning just here. Oh, we're going to have to go straight on because whilst I was looking, I forgot. There's another bug. Maybe some of you guys have realised that. As I'm trying to pan around like this and look for the turn, all of your side stick inputs are disabled. So I'm now going via Golf Whiskey. Never mind. What a pain. Anyway, before takeoff checklist. Flight controls are checked. Departure briefing is complete. Flap setting is config 1. FMA takeoff data 134 blue, 139 magenta, climb nav blue, 15,000 blue, 1FD2, and it's a toga takeoff. Transponder is set. ECAM memo takeoff no blue. EFB is stowed. So we're going to get all of the displaced threshold to be able to take off. So we'll hold here. There we go. Malpensa traffic, Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel, lining up runway 35 left for departure on the Urquhart 5 Alpha departure. Okay, so we get our strobe lights on, runway turn off lights on, landing lights on, nose lights on, packs 1 and 2. We can also get the transponder and TCAS. We should probably set that to 2000. There we go. Okay, all our lights are on and we're lining up. Before takeoff checklist below the line. Cabin is secured. Engine mode selector is normal. TCAS TARA. Packs are off. Anti-ice is not required. Malpensa traffic, Alpine 6 Cubit Hotel will line up behind the departing Lufthansa. We'll line up and wait behind departing Lufthansa. Runway 35 left. One of the other things I'm not getting is I'm not getting the messages since SIM update number 5. Which means that for those pilots that are using text on Unicom, we don't get to see them quite as clearly. So we'll wait for him to roll and then we'll line up. So just check. I can't see anything. There's no aircraft about to come and land on us, is there? No. All looks fine there. Ryanair, you still having the weather bug? We'll keep an eye on that. So what I should see is that aircraft who's on the same departure as us, so we're just going to have to give that a minute or so. Otherwise we're probably going to catch him up and we don't want that. So what you tend to do is if you know you've got an aircraft in front of you that's on the same route as you, 2 minutes separation is the norm. And we can see he's flying that departure beautifully. Who's flying? Is anyone on the chat flying the Lufthansa? Who's that? Christian, stop it. Cheeky. Flight reports and more by Liv has subscribed. Thank you. Flight reports by Liv. Sorry, flight reports and more by Liv. Danny, that's exactly right. The departure's going south because of the Alps in the way. Okay, I think I just heard an aircraft on the radio saying there was 7 miles, so that's fine. Dark, is that you in the Lufty? I thought it might be. Why aren't you on voice, Dark? I didn't know you were there. It was too dark. There we go. 2 minutes is good. Okay, so let's go. Take off. Start the chrono. Set 50% N1. And engine stabilize, set takeoff thrust. Mantoga, SIS, and runway.
Easyjet
100 knots.
Lining up and waiting behind 135 left.
V1, rotate. Positive rate of climb, gear up. And autopilot 1 engaged. Thrust climb. Why are we on the go-around track? That's not right. We should have thrust climb and climb showing. There's some strange FMAs. Okay.
2,500.
We're still climbing, that's the main thing. So I'm just going to take autopilot 1 off. I have control. We'll fly this manually for the time being. FMA's not giving us the correct information. Flight directors don't appear to be giving us the correct information at the moment. Although top right hand corner gives us the correct point that we're flying to.
Did you want to 17 Alpha Bravo taking our 35 left Milan check?
Okay, let's put autopilot 1 back on and let's go into nav. There we are, thrust climb SRS nav. And then I think we can get us back into manage mode. That might kick things back in, but we need to maintain a maximum of 220 knots through this turn. I also need to pull standard pressure. There we go. Lots going on there, forgot about that. So climb is armed. That's strange. Keep an eye on the ISA as well. We're burning far too much fuel, so I am going to go and just use a weather pre-select just because we're burning too much fuel. Let's go with broken clouds. Coming up to 10,000 feet, let's get the landing lights off and all the other lights. Get pack 2 back on as well before hitting 14,000 feet. (10,000 feet) we'll get airports on the EFIS. We can clear the RadNav page out. Check the prog page, flight level 360, yeah, that's absolutely fine. So we're now going to continue that climb, flight level 360, we're going through that turn, and then we'll go back into manage mode. And 360 blue, thrust climb, open climb. We can actually pop that into climb, as that works quite well in the simulator at the moment. Nick, I've not had a chance to get it yet, but I'll definitely be getting it because I can't keep flying like this. It's no good, is it? So that's one of the longest departures I've flown in config 1. Anyway, passing S speed. Flaps 0. Spoilers disarmed. Barry, you can reduce the engine noise on the flight pad now. To be fair, Danny, what I might do is we're not under any ATC coverage at the moment. What I can do is I could take a slight shortcut now. Because you're right, we're at 13,000 feet. That said, the MSA for where we are at the moment is, where are we? We're now headed to Sierra Romeo November. That's 8,000 feet, and then it is 12,500 feet, so we're above that. So what we could actually do now is make a left-hand turn and go to Nikmo, which, do you know what, I am going to do that. Make up a little bit of time from the crash to desktop problems. So we'll go temporary direct, we'll confirm that, left-hand turn to Nikmo, and there we go. And as I said, I've not actually flown at night following sim update number 5, so it'll be interesting to see what this looks like. And we're going to be well above the minimum safe altitude and the MS and the Mora as well. So, yeah, good little shortcut. So as I said, I've not flown at night since sim update number 5, and I know this is a touchy subject, but has anybody noticed any sort of degradation of textures at night time following the update? I know that it's obviously probably not as obvious to see at night time. So this is where the flight management system doesn't work quite as well as it should. It's going to bring me right on track here, and then it'll make a right-hand turn to go to Nikmo, where instead I wanted to go direct to Nikmo. So I've just pulled the heading, which is why I've entered open climb and heading mode. You also heard the 3 clicks there just to confirm we've had a mode change. And as we've no wind, we're not going to get blown off course. Treat Women, I think you think in a moment we'll fly into control S-words. Yeah, I hope so. Barry, the strange circles in the flight deck window bother you more than they should. They're meant to replicate sort of suckers that stick things onto the window. But I'm not convinced that you'll see many A320 windows like that. Smooth flying, has anyone experienced unresponsive flight controls after sim update number 5? Only when panning around. So I'm holding my mouse button down. I'm moving left and right, as you can see just here. Whilst ever you've got that right mouse button popped down, any flight controls, any inputs you make will be useless. They won't work. Good evening, Digital. How are you? Long time no speak. Let's go back into nav mode, and we can go back to manage mode. So climb nav. And we're now going to make a left-hand turn towards Ibiza, so that's saved us some time. And we're at flight level 230 as well. We can get the seatbelt signs off now. So now all we're doing is monitoring the climb, make sure it works as expected. And we shouldn't be too far off. There's a lot of controlled airspace online tonight, so that'll be nice to have some air traffic control helping add to our immersion. Danny, on what occasion would pilots use open climb instead of climb? Alright, so say we got some bad weather ahead and you wanted to climb really, really quickly. Well, then what you could do is you can go into open climb, you could reduce the speed, and of course the only way to reduce the speed would be to pitch up, so it would get you climbing faster than what manage mode would do. J-Hog, good evening. Nick, you're the second person today that's reported that. You're a strange one this morning. You could not do headings. They showed on the glare shield but wouldn't turn. My dad had a similar issue. Tom on Facebook asks, is it best to get the A320 from the installer or GitHub? Oh, I'd definitely use the installer. Definitely. Just realised the integral lighting's not turned up. That's no good in a dark cockpit. Digital, yep, Wayne is correct. I had 2 crash to desktops in 5 minutes. And isn't it strange that then we fly again now with no problems? He says, grabbing onto his wooden table. So if we're about to fly into control airspace, we'll wait until they ask us to contact them. Barry, my dad flies Microsoft Flight Simulator. Indeed he does. Indeed he does. Yeah, we'll be going into the Swiss radar, which is going to be 12805. In fact, can we set this on here?
It's up to you, but normally at this time of the day, runway 20.
Well, okay, thanks for the information. No problem.
I bet that was someone coming into Zurich because they have to use certain runways following this a late time in the evening, otherwise the German population complain.
T-Roger 38, copy to wind, band belt, calm, runway 14, clear to land.
So we'll give them a call. Swiss radar, good evening, Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel, with you passing flight level 300 for flight level 360, inbound Pixos.
Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel, this radar, good evening. Yeah, Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel, that's Squawk 1000.
Squawk 1000 for Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel.
Flight going 4911 on discretion, descent flight level 150.
150 for flight Bulgaria 4911.
Oh, I think we might be in controlled airspace for a lot of the way now. Indeed, all of the way if everybody who's online at the moment stays online.
132, das war Bye-Bye. Schönen Abend dir, ciao, let's take it 106.
So we're now at 31,500 feet.
And Alpine 86 helicopter you identified. As I'm closing and Long seems also to be closing soon. Mighty Unicom 122, that's right.
That didn't last long. Back on to Unicom 122.8. Thanks for the short service. Alpine 86 Quebec was night night. Ah, spoke too soon there, didn't we?
Oh, on around what?
Oh, we're back on our own. MBS Gaming, question about VATSIM on Unicom. How far away can you hear another pilot, or how close do you have to be? That is a great question. Somebody will know the answer, but I'm afraid I don't. I'm not really sure. GD, you've got white circles floating in the... These sound like points of interest markers. You can turn those off in the... Is it the accessibility options or something like that? So if you've been here right since the start of the stream, thank you so much for persevering with us with the couple of crash to desktops we had right at the start. Fingers crossed we seem to be okay now. Please do give the stream a like, and if you are enjoying it, please hit the subscribe button and maybe turn on the notifications as well so you don't miss future streams. We should have another one for you tomorrow actually. Digital Flight Deck does some great streams in the DC-6. I keep meaning to join in one. Maybe I'll learn how to fly the aircraft. We'll do our top of climb checks in a couple of moments. Harry, what are my specs and what are the frame rate? Okay, well, first of all, I've locked my frames for 35 FPS. We don't need any more than that on a flight simulator. And I have a Ryzen 5 3600, a GTX 1660, and 32 gig of RAM. Cloud0571, could you have a wing view, please? Yeah, I promise that's coming up. We just need to check that we get these FMA changes. 1,000 feet to go. Simon, we're still in the air. This is going very well. Danny, the DC-6 is a great aircraft, isn't it? I like flying it as well. I perhaps don't fly it as much as I should. I mean, this channel is kind of known for A320. I mean, that's the aircraft that I know. But the DC-6 gives you the chance to fly that old school way of flying. And there's Mac Alt Star. And JBreak19, thank you so much for subscribing. Nick, thank you for calling the night butt up. And there's Alt Cruz, there we go. Okay, so if I just zoom in here, let's do a fuel check at Elmer. Second name Fudd. What have we got? We've got about 5.8 tons, just under. So at Elmer, we did a shortcut, so I'm hoping we've got a bit of extra fuel left over. Elmer, we've got 4.9. We took around 0.7 tons extra, so that's going to be, that should be about 5.6 tons. 5.6 tons, and what have we got? 5.7 and a half. Yes, so that makes sense. What was that? 21 minutes into the flight. Have we also cut some time off that? 15 minutes into the flight. Now that is because this didn't have the transition on it for some reason. That's why. X, if you turn off live weather and have the fly-by-wire dev version, it should be okay. Yeah, absolutely, it should. And I can show you this. Let's have another go. So at the moment I'm using a preset, and the number you all need to pay attention to is the one on the lower ECAM, just down here, ISA 0. I mean, that is absolutely perfect weather conditions. There's no deviation. That is basically what are we at? We're at 36,000 feet. So at 36,000 feet,
Traffic, flight Bulgaria.
that is what the outside air temperature, etc. should be. It's never normally 0 because, well, you get different weather fronts, and it's always warmer this time of year over like the Greek islands and things like that. But if I now go to live weather, if we just pop live weather on, watch these numbers here. Plus 71. Your engines can't fly. Look at the fuel burn increase. Yeah, it can't do it. So let's turn that off. And that's why you have trouble climbing, and that's why you have trouble flying with live weather at the moment, because it's broken. The hot fix that came out to fix it fixed nada. I bet and would burn more fuel than we needed at the departure airport because of the live weather. To be fair, up until about 10,000 feet, you're probably okay. Below 10,000 feet, that's when you're going to start to struggle. Well, anyway, we can't sit on our laurels too much. Twitch setup tool, thank you for following on Twitch. Let's check everything down here is working as it should be. So now we've checked that live weather, fuel used, oil, etc. Engine 1 vibrations all good. Bleed air page looks good. And our pressure page, landing elevation is set to auto for when we arrive in Berlin. Pressure differential 7.6, that's good. Below 8 is what we're looking for on here. Cabin altitude below 8,000 feet, again very good. That's how we want to see it. It wants to be around 8,000 feet, so if it's a couple of hundred feet over that, that's no biggie. Electric page is all good as well. IDG is doing their job. Hydraulic pressure 3,000 psi on all three systems, and fuel used and fuel on board adds up to 7.5 tons, which is what we departed with, so that means with no fuel leak. AP obviously not running. Temperature in the aircraft is 22, ooh, slightly warmer in the back. Of course, all doors closed and armed. Brake temperatures nice and chilled, and all flight controls working. System status normal. Okay, TM, good evening. Hope you're well. Air Trooper 37, you've never tried SimBrief. It looks far too confusing for you. Really? Oh, Air Trooper 37. Check out the... oh, let me see if I can find it. One moment. So on the real world tutorial, real world procedures tutorial playlist. Let me see if I can find you the one that you need to watch. Here we go. Okay, so for anybody that wants to get to grips with SimBrief, there's a link to a tutorial which will explain everything about SimBrief and how easy it is, because it's fantastic. And once you've created your flight plan in SimBrief, of course, it's all set, ready and waiting for you here in the simulator. And the good thing about SimBrief is you can make it as complicated or as simple as you want. Creating a flight plan will take you 60 seconds. Getting the information you need on the operational flight plan is straightforward as well, depending on how realistic you want that to be. So if I bring up the operational flight plan just here, so this is the Easyjet format. Always make sure you use that, he says biasedly, and it's just straightforward here. So there's our route, for example, there's our trip wind, there's our cost index, our cruise flight level, and then here you've got the aircraft's dry operating weight, the payload, zero fuel weight, how much fuel, takeoff weight, landing weight, how much fuel, that's the planned block fuel, so that's what you're going to load ultimately. And then you've got all the information we need here. So one of the things that I would take into account now, where are we? We're at Lokta. Which is just here, so we're there at the moment. So that's your minimum fuel you should have remaining at this point. And there's your minimum off route altitudes. Distance to go, about 394 miles left to go. The air temperature, what it should be, of course, if you're using live weather. But yeah, it should be nice and straightforward. Denny on Facebook, if you are going to download the FlyByWire mod, that's great, but don't get it through the marketplace, because in fact they've removed it, haven't they? It's not even available in the marketplace, because that was the so-called stable build, and it was a stable build prior to sim update number 5. It then became very unstable and causes crash to desktops. So the dev build, the developer build, is the one that you want at the moment, and that is best obtained through the FlyByWire website and using their installer. Anna, can I explain how to get that on the flypad? Yeah, that's straightforward. So the operational flight plan from SimBrief is essentially this thing just here. Once you're on the main dashboard, which you do by selecting the little FlyByWire tail logo just there, simply press from SimBrief, ensuring that on the settings page you have got your SimBrief username already popped in there, and then once you've done that and clicked the from SimBrief button on the dispatch page, operational flight plan, it should all be there ready and waiting for you. And this is really nice to have. Helps with the immersion, particularly if you are in VR. Dan the Man, dev build is working perfect for you. No CTDs yet. Did you see the start of this stream? Kijungu, you want at least 1 hour of fuel with account to the wind as your minimum. You don't need that much. If you can't find an alternate airport within an extra hour's worth of flying time, then there's something wrong. With the exception, of course, as if you're doing something like going to Funchal, where you're kind of on your own and your alternate is one of the Canary Islands. But then that's taken into account with your alternate fuel, so... Denny, if you had both of them, then that's going to cause a conflict, so it won't work. What you need to make sure you do is you delete the one from the marketplace, and the only way you can do that successfully is to go to your content manager here inside the simulator and remove it. You can't delete it just by deleting a file as you would do the community folder for other add-ons. And Musaska 10, thank you for subscribing as well. Nick or Easter Island, yeah. Should we make that an annual trip now? I quite enjoyed that. Alpaca 98, am I going to do a flight to Nuremberg someday? I don't know. Do Easyjet land there? I've not seen it on any of the schedules. Anna, it will always bring up your most recent one that you have created. A320, you want a Christmas livery for the 320? We had a beautiful Christmas livery, didn't we? I think we had a Christmas livery anyway. We certainly had an Easter livery. I like this view. It's perhaps a little bit better in the daytime, but this view is the sort of view you'd see if you've seen any of the YouTube videos with sort of cameras mounted right at the front of an aircraft to give you a pilot's eye view. That's a sort of view that this tries to replicate. Dark Fury, do we need a Halloween livery next? That'd be kind of cool. And Dark, we should go to the Canaries. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done a Canary flight. They're always so long. That's the problem with the Canary flights. I don't have time to do those in an evening, I'm afraid. Oh, Dark! Oh, thank you so much, Dark. And Dark says, for help with your with help from my graphics tweaks and a few of your own, you're now getting 35 FPS minimums, and the scenery is looking great. Oh, Dark, share the secret. What else have you done? We'll be all very interested, I'm sure, to hear that. And thank you, Dark, once again for your continued support. Where should we go with a Halloween livery? Transylvania or somewhere like that. Or Whitby. Europa car livery. Can't advertise then. Ethan 555, live weather is not yet working, sadly. Waffle, you've got your Airbus throttle quadrant, haven't you? Bet that's very different to a keyboard. OKTM, you've got to go. Have a nice landing. Thanks very much, OKTM, for stopping by. I look forward to seeing you again on the next flight. So flying straight and level, not too much to see from a passenger point of view, is there really? Brian, I mentioned that I was going to do, that I was trying an Air Canada livery when sadly Crash the Desktop plagued that. I was. The route I was going to do, oh boy, where was it? Do you know now? I can't remember. Toronto to one of the Caribbean islands. Pilot Pat, that is a great idea. A CTD livery. Treatment, do I recommend you watching my stream First IFR flight on VATSIM? What I would recommend is watching the video of how to practice on VATSIM. I think lots of people find that quite useful. Cobra Oak 3, I can't remember if we've flown to Alicante, and it makes me wonder why. Alicante is a great place. Dark, if it was converted A320X livery, it could cause a CTD. No, it wasn't. It wasn't a converted one. It was several available from FlightSim.to. Sadly, I couldn't get them working. But they were originally designed for the A320X. They weren't converted. Or at least, they weren't converted by me. Covert Oak 3, someone needs to make a blow-up co-pilot. Yeah, to sit down there. Talia Johnson, new version released, the A320 CTD edition. Anyway, we are less than an hour away from landing, so I want to start just bringing into our scans the arrival. Now, Berlin doesn't have an approach keyed in, so I'm going to go through this and see what it looks like. Oh, why does it say it's not got an approach keyed in? That's spot on. That's exactly the approach I was expecting to see. So this is the Atgub 25 left arrival. If we just zoom in there, so there's 482, there's 482, there's 471, 471, and then we have this nice long dogleg approach. So we have DB 461, 62, 63, 64, 65. I'm not going to count all those. But yeah, which then ends at Zanim. Just here, Zanim, the final approach fix. For 25 left. Zanim. There we go. Beautiful. So there's our nice long approach. So let's go through and get a few things sorted. Transition level is in fact actually just before we do this, have we got any ATIS? Make sure it is 25 left. I don't want to plan an arrival for the wrong runway. Send that off. Number 10 Ox, good afternoon. Charles Johnson says thank you for the tweak video and this flight is interesting. Oh, thank you, Charles. Christian, please don't fly the whole star, it reaches to the Polish border. Well, I'm hoping ATC is online, in which case we won't be flying the full star, we'll be following ATC instructions. Here we go. Right, so expect ILS approach runway 25 left in use. Winds are 20 degrees at 6 knots. 020 degrees at 6 knots. Ceiling visibility okay. Temperature is 20 degrees. QNH 1012. Showers of rain. Berlin information. Juliet. Michael Horse says, Sim update 5, the FPS keeps dropping during the flight. For example, when reaching cruising altitude last night, you were sitting at 40 FPS, but 2 hours later, you were below 20. Now, there was a memory leak, wasn't there, with Sim update 5, which again the hotfix was supposed to fix. Interesting. So, let's go to our performance page. Enter all that in. QNH 1012. Temperature 20. Wind 0206. Because I will have live weather back on by the time we land. And transition altitude. So the transition altitude is 5,000 feet. Platform altitude. Barry, you've just lost the whole flight plan after an instruction from VATSIM. You're not sure how to fix it. Right, go back and reinitialize the flight. Go to the init page, and you can either type it in again, or you can go to the McDo menu, go to ATSU, go to the AOC menu, init press, init data request again. Then you should on the init page be able to hit this button here, and it'll just bring it all back in. Make sure when you're doing that you've pulled the heading bug and you're going straight and level. Otherwise your aircraft's just going to do a 180 and turn you back around to the start of your flight. You'll then need to go direct to whichever waypoint you were heading towards. Sorry guys, just got interrupted there by trying to save Barry. Hope that works for you, Barry. Platform altitude. Oh, that's Milan. Go away, Milan. 25 left. Platform altitude 3,000 feet. Minimum safe altitude as we make our approach is 2,400 feet. Yeah, there's not that much terrain around, is there? Around Berlin. And our decision height. Okay, well there's showers of rain, which if you get a rain shower right on the threshold of a runway, that's your visibility gonked. So at the moment we can plan for Cat 1, but we can brief an auto land if required. So let's go with a Cat 1 for now, which is 349. And the QNH was what? 1012. The ILS frequency is... Oh, hang on. I'm getting pinged. Let's contact Echo Delta Mike Romeo, which is München Radar.
München Radar, there was squawk 2362.
Easyjet Alpha Bravo, München Radar, good evening, final 357 by London.
Easyjet Alpha Bravo, München Radar, no squawk 2367.
Squawk 2367, EC17 Alpha Bravo.
München Radar, good evening, Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel, flight level 360 inbound Lunley.
186 Quebec Hotel, München Radar, low identifier.
Right, so we're now under radar control. Anyway, as I was saying, the ILS frequency is 109.5. 109.5. That's fine. Airport elevation is 149, and our missed approach altitude is 4,000 feet. We're also going to need for the missed approach Bravo Bravo India.
Charlie, bit 22 degrees 7 knots, runway 265, clear to them.
And also for our help with our descent profile, we can pop in the Schonenfeld beacon as well, which is Sierra Delta Delta.
17 Alpha Bravo, squawk 2367.
2367, EC1 Alpha Bravo.
And we've got both of those showing now. So let's have a look at when we're going to start our descent. Now all depends exactly
7 Whiskey Tango, turn right heading 220, clear island.
how much of this approach they're going to make us do. Hopefully not too much.
Ticket 9106, gate 187 via Alpha 4, Whiskey 1.
But if we're coming down and aiming to be at, well, yeah, how much of this are they going to want us to do? To be fair, we're under ATC control, so what I will probably look to do is use this distance here to help us work out how far we are away. Which VOR is that? I don't think that's the right one, is it? Sierra Delta Delta? Yeah, it was just picking up a different VOR just there. Strange. We can use this one for now.
Okay, thank you. Yeah,
We're at 36,000 feet, and as this one is actually at the airfield, then it's quite straightforward to base our descent profile on that. 36 times 3 is 108. So when we are about 100 miles away, I think that's a good point to start descending. To be fair, in the real world there is a tailwind, so you'd have to take that into account as well. Is there a way to clear the flight plan altogether mid-flight, Barry? The only way you can do that, as far as I'm aware at the moment, is to go to your init page and type in your from and to again. Once you've done that, your flight plan will be blank. Drini, no, there won't be another flight after this. It's 9:30 at night just here.
Easy 4541, monitor Unicom, bye-bye.
Unicom for Easy 4541, bye.
Also, just bring into our scan that there's a max speed of 220 knots at Berlin 471, so our descent, we need to be aware of that as well. Alpha, live weather is not good. No. But what is good is VATSIM aren't shouting at me for being at the wrong altitude, so I guess that's working. What's going to be our landing weight? Let's just quickly have a look at that.
Climb 66 Charlie, taxi entry November 1 via Alpha 4. Oh, November 1 Alpha 4, 66 Charlie.
What am I doing? I'm having a moment.
7 Whiskey Tango, wind is 227.
So we should have 3.5 tons on board when we land. We've currently got 4.8, so minus 1.3. So we're going to be landing, call it 64 tons. Over to you to come now. Thanks for the service. Helpline 86 Quebec Hotel.
17 Alpha Bravo, monitor Unicom, bye-bye.
They're all going offline. They don't want me to land. Right, let's then have a look at doing our landing checklist. To be fair, we're only doing this purely because it's the done thing to do. You have to do it legally, but I think it's a 4,000 meter runway, so there shouldn't be any problem in stopping. Runway altitude was 149, runway heading is 245. I always get concerned if I'm not looking at the aircraft when it's turning. I need to make sure it's going in the right direction, which it is. Runway slope, we can ignore that. Landing distance available. Let's have a look for 25 left. Is the full length. 4,000 meters. 4,000 meters of runway to play with. Approach speed we'll guesstimate at the moment 130, and I said we're going to do a calculation for 64 tons. Fully configured. Don't need to run the overweight procedure. Reverse thrust, no. Calculate. Oh, low brakes would stop us in plenty of time, so we'll get that on. To be fair, auto brakes wouldn't even be required. It's that long. So, just going back to this briefing, I didn't put the decision height in, I got interrupted, so, not the decision height, the decision altitude, it's only a height if we're doing an auto land. Transition altitude is, oh, it's 5,000 feet, not 6,000 feet, let me alter that. So decision altitude is 349. If the weather with those rain showers looks like it's going to be bad, then we can do an auto land, but we'd need to make that decision sooner rather than later. And I'm just going to put in Delta Bravo 471 in here. This is where the speed restriction is. I'm 126 miles away from that. Where are we going? That doesn't look like we're on course. Delta Bravo 482. Should we get back on track, please, airplane? Pete, you just landed on runway 25 left and there were yellow crosses all along it. Probably because I don't know, maybe the satellite imagery was from when the airport wasn't officially open. I guarantee there's no crosses on it in the real world because they're landing on it. Funnily enough though, if you look at Google Maps, all get your phones out now, go to Google Maps, unless you're watching me on your phone, don't turn me off. But if you go to Google Maps, you'll see that there are crosses all over that runway. Jeff, how is she flying tech? Well, now we've finally got her in the air. Yeah, flying great. Alfie, how do you get Navigraph charts? So, sadly, it is a subscription service. Wayne, everyone's just discovered your sense of humour, mate. Chris, good evening. How are you? Hope you're well. Won't be long now before we're starting our approach and our way down. So, thanks so much for watching so far, everybody. Particularly if you stuck with us at the start. We had a terrible crash to desktops, but we're now hopefully sorted. Please do give the stream a like and maybe consider subscribing and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future streams. We should have another one tomorrow, actually. That might be a daytime stream tomorrow, though. As we come into land, I will also turn off the chat in the window so that you guys can see what's happening. Brian, if it's raining, should you do a landing distance calculator with wet, not dry? You can do, but it's only probability. I mean, we can... to be fair, it's runway condition, it's what the braking's like. If you're just getting showers of rain, your braking's still going to be good. So, I mean, if I did one for good and then calculated it, just see how far these change. Yeah, negligible. In fact, low didn't even change, did it? And I do have a tutorial on how to read the charts. It looks like you're in a calculus class. I actually don't. I guess it's one of those things though, if you keep watching the live streams, then even the older ones, then you'll see me go through reading the charts and it becomes quite easy to pick up. A lot of them are rather intuitive. And Jose and Greg, a few minutes ago on YouTube, thank you so much for subscribing. So whereabouts are we? We could probably start a nice steady descent down now. Okay, so we're going to opt to go down to 8,000 feet to begin with. So on our way down, thrust idle, open descent, 080 blue. Real Blocks Gaming, FPS? No idea. Smooth. I don't care for FPS.
Inbound soft.
So we'll make a call on Newcom when we get to... Oh, well, it looks like we're going to beam at Gub. Not quite sure what happened there. Jeff, I have actually reduced my LOD to 4 now. Just to keep it nice and smooth, but I don't see any problem with that. I rarely zoom in more than this anyway, because it does kind of kill the immersion somewhat. But even in the daytime, that would look nice and sharp, which is good. Anti-flew Innsbruck to Geneva earlier. Terrain radar was working. Oh, they fixed it. I haven't updated in the last 48 hours, so yeah, good to know. Alfie, do I know if more liveries will come to the Xbox version? I'm afraid I don't. I have no idea. I would imagine that they'll add them in somehow, but considering everything I think you guys have got to download has to be through the marketplace, they may be free. There may be a cost. I'm not sure. So I think Berlin Director is online, and Berlin Tower is online as well. So that's going to be 121.125. See if they stay online. 121.125, and that's Berlin Director, and we've also got Berlin Tower online, which is 120.025. So let's get that in the standby. We also need to have a quick look at how we're going to do the taxi. So 25 left, we're a medium jet. Landing distance available to turn off. Mike 5 is where it wants us to go. Which one's Mike 5? Oh yeah, there. Right. Oh right, in that case, do you know what? We're going to use a higher brake. What was that distance? Landing distance available to the turnoff is 1785 meters. Medium is 2,200. Maximum manual is 1,000. Maybe we're not going to make Mach 5. Alright, I'll do manual braking. If we don't make Mach 5, it's going to be Mach 3. So it's either going to be Mike 5 or Mike 3. After leaving the runway, pilot will change the frequency of the ground control unless pilot is received with the taxi clearance. Hold in front of taxiway D when taxiing off the north runway to the south, and in front of taxiway A. Okay, where's taxiway A? Okay, so we vacate, cross, and hold. Don't go onto taxiway Alpha until we are told. We should be inbound at SUP.
And 6 Echo Mike with 180 degrees, 10 knots, runway 25 left, cleared for takeoff.
Not quite sure why we're not. Let's pop that back online. There we are. And if we recall at ATGov, we need to have... sorry, it's not at ATGov, but it's at 471, which is over here. Turn the constraints off. Can't see that. That's where we need to have slowed down. But I think we're actually descending. We're now nicely below the profile, so I'm just going to slow down that descent rate. That's better. Okay, let's give ATC a call and see if they want us on their radar just yet. Berlin, good evening. Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel, passing flight level 200, direct at SUP.
Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel, this is Berlin Tower, second position.
Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel, we're inbound to ATGov.
Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel, contact Berlin arrival 126, destination 425.
Apologies, on to arrival now for Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel, and we'll speak to you in a little while. I think I was on the tower there, a little bit too premature. 126425.
Fox Hotel Mike Papa Romeo Berlin Tower, hello, wind check.
There we go. Berlin, good evening. Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel, passing flight level 180, direct at GUB.
Easyjet Quebec Hotel, Berlin arrival, hello, expect ILS 25 left, descend flight level 120 and report to indicate airspeed.
Descend flight level 120 and indicating 270.
Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel, roger, speed 250 knots.
Reducing speed 250 knots. Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel.
Berlin approach, good evening, Ryanair 21 Tango for levels 230, direct Amtgov.
Ryanair 21 Tango,
To the standard open descent,
expect ILS 25 left,
120 blue, and 250 knots now selected.
Expect 25 left approach, maintain present heading and say again for 21 Tango.
Expect ILS 25 left and descend flight level 100.
Okay, down to 100, 21 Tango.
Tower was as confused as me. Yeah, not quite sure what happened there.
Flight level 190, flight level 080.
Easy 17 Alpha Bravo, Berlin arrival, hello, identified, expect ILS 25 left, descend flight level 100.
Descend flight level 100, expect ILS 25 left, EC 17 Alpha Bravo.
Okay, we'll get the seatbelt signs on nice and early.
Speed 257 knots.
Seatbelt signs on.
EC 17 Alpha Bravo.
Approach checklist. Minimum set both side. Any mode selected to normal. Electronic flight bag is stowed. We've briefed our approach.
Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel, turn left heading 040.
Left 040, Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel.
Departure low, runway 60 Mike 5000. Runway 60 Mike, departure low, identified, climb pad level 160. Climbing 160, runway 60 Mike.
Air Trooper, I dare CTD. Do you know, I wonder how VATSIM controllers have found this over the last week or so. Sat there with aircraft just disappearing from their scopes. MBS Gaming has another new version of FSUI PC being released. I downloaded the new one probably about 3 days ago.
Ryanair 21 Tango, what's currently indicated airspeed?
Currently 250 knots.
So speed and now showing 13,000.
Easy 17 Alpha Bravo, maintain.
Sorry, 1,300 feet descent rate.
Maintain present heading, EC 17 Alpha.
So
Ryanair 6 Echo Mike, proceed.
dare we put on live weather just now? Let's see what happens with that.
Ryanair 6 Echo Mike. Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel, descent flight level 100.
Descent flight level 100, Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel.
Ryanair 21 Tango, reduce speed.
100 blue.
230 knots, so running to 1 second.
And we now have live weather on. We're back on live weather. And with ATC guiding us in, this is going to be quite nice. Left 030, Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel.
17 Alpha Bravo, turn left heading 030.
030, EC 17 Alpha.
Ryanair 21 Tango, turn right heading 040.
28 miles away from the airport. However, of course, that is as the crow flies, remember?
And down to what altitude? 1 second?
Sheho, no, the approach mode for INAV doesn't work. Speaking of approach mode, we're going to go to performance and we're going to activate the approach phase. We're already in heading, so that's now done. Approach phase activated. We'll get the landing lights on as well. And we're coming below 10,000 feet. Goodman, you think 98% of all the flying you've done has been with live weather and time? Yeah, mine too. I rarely change it.
Turn left heading 020, descent altitude 4,000 feet, QNH 1013.
Left heading 020, descent at altitude 4,000 feet, QNH 1013, Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel.
Ryanair 21 Tango is possible, expedite descent.
Expedite descent, 1 second.
Send easy 17 Alpha Bravo, further descent for you in 2 minutes.
Roger that, EC 17 Alpha.
Goodman, if I flew up there, it would be daylight still. Yes, wouldn't it, in Iceland? Quite right. Real Blocks Gaming, I do cap the FPS, yes. I'm capped at 35.
Okay, alles klar. Viel Erfolg beim Fixen. Alles gut, ciao.
So weather's not looking good. I did mention the potential for
Ryanair 21
an
Tango,
auto
turn
land.
left heading 010 and descend 4,000
If that is the
Left
case,
010 down to 4,000 feet, right? Someone saying.
we can do full auto land cat 3B.
Ryanair 21 Tango, contact director 121 125, course and only, happy landing.
12125, Delta only, thank you, 21 Tango.
Help.
So again, if you've watched the streams regularly, you'll know that I don't talk too much just during this stage of flight. Just following the instructions, obviously watching our descent profile. We're descending 1,000 feet per minute at the moment. That's okay. You can see the traffic we've got ahead of us, so I'm going to guess we're going to get this guy onto the finals. This guy here will be coming onto finals as well. Looks like the visibility is starting to come back in though now, so that's good.
786 Quebec Hotel, turn left heading 010, speed 230 knots.
Left heading 010, just speed 230 knots for Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel.
Easy 17 Alpha Bravo, decent altitude 4,000 feet, Berlin QNH 1013.
Descend 4,000 feet, QNH 1013, EC 17 Alpha.
Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel, speed 220 knots now, contact director 121 125, course and only, happy landing. Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel, speed 220 knots, contact director 121 125, course and only, happy landing.
121 125 for Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel. Thanks for service. Bye bye.
Bye.
Director, Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel.
Upon 86 Quebec Hotel, director to identified. Expect either 25 left and descend 3,000 feet.
Expect ILS for runway 25 left, Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel.
Upon 86 Quebec Hotel, descend 3,000 feet.
Descend 3,000 feet, 86 Quebec Hotel. And we're just using a little bit of speed brakes there, just get that speed down. Also help increasing that descent rate. We can see the glide slope now starting to meet us. And let's start configuring as well. So flaps 1, speed checked. Flaps 1. Having an issue with the speed brake there, so I'm just going to pull that down and then pull that up. That's my hardware configuration not working.
Upon 86 Quebec Hotel, speed 200 knots, turn left heading 340.
Left 340, speed 200 for Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel.
EC 17 Alpha Bravo, side, descending to 7,400 for 4,000 feet.
Easy 17 Alpha Bravo, within the director to identified. Expect either 25 left.
Expect level 25 left side of EC 17.
So we're currently 16 miles out. And expect a left-hand turn and clearance to And clearance for the ILS approach any second now. We're nicely below the glide slope, so we can arrest that descent rate.
Quebec Hotel, turn left heading 280, cleared ILS approach, runway 25 left.
Left heading 280, cleared ILS approach runway 25 left, Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel.
And Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel, speed 170 knots till 5 miles final.
170 knots till 5 miles for Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel.
And 21 Tango, speed 170 knots till 5 miles, contact tower 120.025, goodbye.
170 until 5 miles final and contact tower, thank you, rise 1 second.
So alt, glide slope blue, lock blue, cat 3 dual, autopilot 1 and 2. Lock star.
Easy 17 Alpha Bravo, turn left heading 340.
Left heading 340, Easy 1 at 2 knots Bravo.
Glide slope's alive. And flaps 2, speed checked. Flaps 2.
And taken for 1 Easy 1.
Lock green.
Bravo, heading
Easy 17 Alpha Bravo, heading 340.
340.
And maintain 170 until 5 miles. Tower is 120025.
Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel, contact tower 120.025, goodbye.
Over to Tower, thanks for the service, Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel. Good night. Tower Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel, established 25 left, 11 miles.
Easy 86 Quebec Hotel, ready tower, welcome back, number 3.
Number 3, continue, Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel. And then we've got ground. Oh no, ground seems to have gone offline, but that actually saves us a job with switching frequencies, doesn't it? So that's good.
Flight attendants, please prepare for landing.
Tower nochmal, Standard 016, military composition, Papa 1, request taxi.
Command Force 016, welcome back. Taxi via Kilo 4, holding point 255.
Kilo 4, 1.25, 016.
Radar altimeter is alive. So we're hoping to vacate right onto Mike 5, if not it's going to be Mike 3. Handcrafted airport, so all the signs should be good.
And 21 Tango, wind 180 degrees, 10 knots, runway 25 left, clear to land. 25 left, clear to land, runway 1 second.
And at 6 miles we'll start to configure for our landings. So landing gear down on the spoilers. All our lights on. Flaps 3. We're now at 5 miles.
17 Alpha Bravo.
Manage speed.
Good night. 180 knots. Localize official left.
It's 17 Alpha Bravo, ready tower, hello, number 3.
Flaps full.
Thanks.
So we shall be vacating to the right. Not being given a landing clearance just yet.
Romeo, good evening, Berliner Tower, push approved, facing south.
Pittsburgh, we'll face south.
I love the retail park we're about to fly over. Great details there. And I think you can just see the signs of an IKEA.
Ryder 21 Tango, willkommen in Berlin, vacate right. right, thereafter turn right onto Alpha. Right Alpha, runway 21 Tango. Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel, wind 180 degrees, 10 knots, runway 25 left, clear to land.
Clear to land, 25 left, Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel. Okay, autopilot now disengaged. I left the autopilot on late just in case we didn't get a landing clearance and we had to go around. The autopilot would have flown the go around quite nicely for me. So now downgraded to Cat 1. 500 though. Approach is stable. Those blinding lights. Slight tailwind as well for anybody that's noticed that.
100 above. 200. Minimum
Continue.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5.
And spoilers deployed, reverses on. Decel. 70 knots, reverses off. And at night time,
Tango, continue Alpha, turn left.
very difficult to see where we're actually vacating. I believe this is Mike 6, so we're going to vacate just here on the right.
Continue Alpha, left Victor 1 and hold short in 3-4, runway 1 Tango.
Center MSFS 016, turning short 25 right, got a departure.
German Air Force 016, wind 180 degrees, 10 knots, 25 right, clear for takeoff.
25 to take off, German 016.
Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel, give way to Ryanair, Boeing 737, 800 from the left, continue via Alpha. To the right, sorry, right on Alpha.
Right on Alpha and give way to the Ryanair. Is that on Alpha that we need to stop and give way to that? Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel?
Yeah, follow the Ryanair via Alpha, Victor 1, hold short entry south.
Roger, we've got him in sight with no lights in the simulator. Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel.
Okay, Roger. Easy 17 Alpha Bravo, wind 180 degrees, 10 knots, 25 left, clear to land.
25 left, clear to land.
So-
17 Alpha.
Whilst we sit here, we shall just tidy up a little bit. So is that Ryanair just passed us whilst we were doing that? Yep, there we go. So we'll follow the Ryanair on Alpha. And we can just continue to... oh, I forget, if I'm panning around, since the update, I can't actually steer my aircraft.
Turns 15 remaining ready to taxi.
Lufthansa 15 Romeo, taxi via Victor 2, Bravo, Mike 8, holding point 25 left.
Average Victor 2, Bravo, Mike 8, holding point 25 left. Lufthansa 15 remaining.
Sean, yeah, you do turn the lights off because, well, makes probably not as much difference here in the simulator, but in the
Ryanair 2,
flight deck,
Tango, continue Victor 1,
sorry, I'm just listening to see, in the flight deck, it gives your eyes a chance to adjust to the darkness of the night, and obviously concentrate on the runway lights.
And right now, 5-1 Papa uniform, request pushback.
And a 5 on Papa Uniform, push approved, facing south. Push, but approved.
What's with this purple glow?
German Air Force 016, contact Bremen on 126, that's a 425, shift look show.
126, 425 for Bremen, German Air Force 016, danke, cheers.
Very strange. So at the moment our last instruction was just to follow the Ryanair, I think. We'll not get too close to him. And Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel holding at Victor 1.
86 Quebec Hotel, order to left on Victor 1, hold short of Echo.
Left on Victor 1 and hold short of Echo for Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel.
EC17 Alpha Bravo vacated to 5 left.
17 Alpha Bravo, welcome Berlin, turn right onto Alpha.
Right on Alpha, EC17 Alpha Bravo.
So Echo is just after taxiway Bravo. When I'm doing nighttime flights, I like to come to handcrafted airport because you can see all the signs, you can see the taxiways are marked up correctly.
F1 86 Quebec Hotel, continue Echo, stand Charlie 12.
We'll continue on Echo for stand Charlie 12, Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel.
Easy 17 Alpha, continue via Alpha, Victor 1, hold short of Echo.
Charlie 12 then, a real world stand for Easyjet flights. So this is taxiway Bravo just here that we're about to cross. And then we're going to park. Our parking stand's right over there. So if you are about to leave us, please do consider giving the stream a like. It makes a huge difference to the channel rankings on YouTube. Really helps the algorithms, and I would really appreciate it if you could give a like on the stream. Obviously, if you are new here, then please also consider hitting subscribe to see more live flights, and of course tutorials, as well as help with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, as much as I can give at the moment, given the state of things at the moment. Christian, the pink was a texture missing. That's fine. But then when you got a little closer, the text just spawned in. So that's strange. Nick, is that spacing or do you just not like Ryanair? No comment. Tyler, sadly the weather bug is not fixed. Charlie 12 is right at the end, and again the reason I like nighttime flying and flying to handcrafted airports is I can see the taxi sign, so I know exactly where I'm going. This is Charlie 6, we've got a few more to go.
And EC17 Alpha Bravo, confirm we should be on Echo right now.
You are now on Papa 1, so you should be on Victor 1.
3 more stands, and then our passengers can start to deboard.
Oh, that's early. EC17 Alpha Bravo, continue by Bravo.
And here we go. This is Charlie 12. So let's just turn off the taxi lights so we don't blind the... Have we gone past Charlie 12? Oh, I forget I can't turn and pan, can I? Oh, that's annoying. That's alright. We can rescue that. Tyler, you can use VATSIM if the weather's not working. The main thing VATSIM's there for is to make sure that you're using the right runways. So as long as you're using the right runways, that's the main thing. Given the length of this taxi in the real world, this would have been a single engine taxi, so would have shut down engine number 2, would have turned on the yellow electric pump for the hydraulics. And then, can I cheat and stop? Oh, it was a little bit too soon. Great looking airport, this. There we go. Okay, let's hold that there and we'll pop the parking brake on. And with that, we can just check that the APU is running, which it is. APU is running. Let's get engine 1, engine 2 turned off. With engine 1 and 2 turned off, our seatbelt signs can come off.
Bravo, turn right now on Echo, and for you stand Charlie.
That's something I wish Azobo would get rid of.
Right on Echo, Charlie 06.
Beacon light come off as well. Alpine 86 Quebec Hotel is on the stand and shutting down. Many thanks for the service tonight. Goodbye.
F86 Quebec Hotel, thank you for your flight. Bye-bye.
So let's get the jetway connected as well. Oh, good lord. Well, that's different. I have not seen that before. That's just stunning. Wonderful. Something else that didn't used to happen prior to sim update number 5. Oh, you gotta laugh. Never mind. And let's get the baggage, external power and catering. Is the power going to make an appearance? Yes, there it is. And we've got luggage. We've also got catering. There's the cargo door opening. Good luck, passengers, getting to your jetway with that one. I'm afraid you're completely on your own because I have no idea how to fix that. Looks like spending the night on an aircraft. We'll have to we'll have to find some stairs for those guys, I think. Oh, guys, thank you so much for joining me on the stream tonight. That has been a great flight. Once we actually solved the CTEs right at the start of the stream. Thank you so much to everybody. I hope you've enjoyed that this evening. I really have, and well, that's just comical, isn't it? A big thank you to those of you who have donated and contributed to the stream as well during the flight tonight. It's really, really appreciated. And of course to our Easyjetsimpilot channel members, as always, thank you for your ongoing and continuous support to the channel. And a big thank you to all of you for helping us reach a community of over 14,000 subscribers. That really is an unbelievable benchmark. We're not a year old yet. I wonder, could we possibly, is it wrong to even dare dream that we hit 15,000 in the first year of the channel's inception? I guess we'll wait and see. Any news on an update or a hotfix for Microsoft Flight Simulator following sim update number 5, you will of course hear about it here. So make sure you do give the stream a like, hit subscribe and turn on the notifications bell as well. A big thank you to all of our new subscribers who have joined us throughout the stream tonight. I look forward to seeing you on the next one, and there will be another live stream, should be tomorrow daytime. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. Have a great evening. Good night.